There was a woman who always knew when someone else needed tenderness. She could hear it in the smallest change of a voice. She could see it in the way a friend answered a message with fewer words than usual. She remembered the dates other people wanted to forget. She knew who was pretending to be strong, who needed reassurance before an appointment, who had gone quiet after being disappointed, and who was likely to say, "I'm fine," while hoping someone would ask again. She asked again. She stayed on the phone longer than she had planned. She rewrote her messages until they sounded warm enough. She told people not to be so hard on themselves. She reminded them that healing took time. She assured them that one difficult season did not define their whole life. When someone made a mistake, she looked for the fear beneath it. When someone fell behind, she looked for the burden they might have been carrying. She had 100 compassionate explanations for everyone. Then one evening, after the last conversation had ended and the last person had been comforted, she walked into her quiet kitchen and placed both hands on the counter. Nothing dramatic had happened. No one had shouted at her. No terrible news had arrived. She was only tired in a way that sleep had never quite repaired. She stood there for a long time. A sentence rose inside her, sharp and familiar. "What is wrong with you?" She would never have said those words to the friend who had called her an hour earlier. She would never have spoken that way to the person who had cried while explaining that they were trying their best. She would have offered patience. She would have made room. She would have said, "You have been carrying more than anyone can see." But when she was the one who hurt, her kindness seemed to lose her address. She looked through the dark window above the sink and wondered how a person could know so much about comforting others and still feel completely unqualified to comfort herself. That is where her story will remain for now. There is something important hidden inside that quiet kitchen, something she could not yet see. It was not that she lacked love. It was not that she had failed to learn the right words. The answer had been present in her life for years, but she had been looking at it from the wrong direction. You may recognize something of yourself in her. You may be the person others come to when their world becomes uncertain. You may know how to make room for tears without trying to rush them away. You may know how to sit beside someone's confusion and remind them that they do not have to solve everything today. You may give reassurance without being asked, encouragement without keeping score, and care without needing applause. Yet when your own heart becomes tired, the rules change. You expect yourself to recover faster. You ask why you are still affected. You question why one comment stayed with you, why one memory returned, why one disappointment still touches a tender place. You tell yourself that other people have survived worse. You decide that your feelings are inconvenient, excessive, or badly timed. You compare the private weight inside you with the visible strength you show the world, and because the two do not match, you assume something must be wrong. Nothing is required of you here. This is not another assignment to become better at loving yourself. It is not a test of whether you can think positively enough, forgive quickly enough, speak perfectly enough, or turn every painful moment into a lesson. You do not need to produce calmness. You do not need to prove that you are healing. You do not need to become inspiring before your experience is worthy of care. You can arrive exactly as you are, tired or hopeful, certain or confused, open or guarded. You do not have to force your heart to receive every word. Some words may reach you now. Others may settle somewhere deeper and become meaningful later. There is no correct emotional response. You are not failing if part of you doubts what you hear. Doubt often appears where disappointment has lived for a long time. Your heart has reasons for being cautious. It may have learned that care was something you earned by being useful. It may have learned that harmony depended on your silence. It may have learned that being easy to love meant asking for less, needing less, and recovering from hurt before anyone became uncomfortable. So you became observant. You learned to scan the faces around you. You noticed when someone's mood changed before they explained it. You adjusted the volume of your joy. You found the safest version of every sentence. You became skilled at knowing when to speak, when to soften, when to disappear into the background, and when to make yourself indispensable. Other people may have called you thoughtful. They may have called you mature, dependable, strong, understanding, or selfless. Those words may have felt beautiful because they recognize something real in you. You are caring. You are perceptive. You have a generous spirit. But praise can sometimes hide a question. Who were you permitted to be when you were not helping? Who held space for you when your feelings were complicated? Who stayed curious when you could not explain what hurt? Who reminded you that your needs did not become burdens merely because someone else did not know how to meet them? You may have learned to answer those questions by turning back toward other people. Their needs were clearer. Their pain gave you something to do. Helping them created movement. It gave shape to love. It offered a place where your tenderness could go without being rejected. Your own heart was harder to approach. It carried memories without neat endings. It wanted things you had been taught not to request. It remembered every time you were told that you were too sensitive, too emotional, too needy, too slow to move on, or too difficult to understand. It remembered the moments when honesty changed the atmosphere in the room. It remembered how quickly another person's discomfort became your responsibility. So you learned to edit yourself. You changed "that hurt me" into "it's probably not a big deal." You changed "I need some time" into "don't worry, I'm okay." You changed "I cannot keep doing this" into "I'll manage." You changed "please speak to me with respect" into silence. At times, you may even apologize before expressing a need. You may begin with, "I'm sorry, but," as though your inner life has entered the room without permission. You may explain every boundary until it no longer feels like a boundary. You may offer so many reasons that the other person never has to face the simple truth that something does not feel right for you. Then, after the conversation, you replay it. You review your tone. You examine each word. You imagine how it sounded from the other side. You search for the exact moment when you might have seemed unkind. You consider sending another message to make everything smoother, even when you were the one who had been dismissed, pressured, ignored, or spoken to carelessly. Your mind tells you it is preventing conflict. Your body pays the cost. The jaw tightens, the chest holds its breath, the stomach waits for an answer. The shoulders rise while you check your phone. A small part of you hopes for reassurance, and another part criticizes you for hoping. You may place the phone face down, then turn it over again. You may tell yourself you do not care, then read the same message 3 more times. You may decide to let something go while your body continues to carry it. This does not make you weak. It means that your heart and your protective habits have not yet received the same information. Your mind may say, "It is over." Your nervous system may still be asking, "Am I safe?" Your mouth may say, "It is fine." A deeper part may still be saying, "Please do not leave me alone with this." There is the part nobody says out loud. Being compassionate toward everyone else can become a way of avoiding the risk of turning compassion inward. Other people may accept your kindness. Your own heart may not trust it yet. When tenderness comes from you towards someone else, it has a clear direction. You can see their face. You can hear their relief. You know what to say. When tenderness turns toward you, it may meet years of resistance. It may meet the belief that care must be deserved. It may meet an old fear that if you stop pushing yourself, everything will fall apart. You may believe harshness keeps you responsible. You may believe criticism keeps you improving. You may believe pressure prevents you from becoming lazy, selfish, careless, or difficult. But look closely at what pressure has actually done. It may have made you efficient. It may have made you agreeable. It may have made you quick to correct yourself and slow to question others. It may have helped you survive environments where there was little room for your full humanity. Survival skills deserve respect. They helped you remain connected when connection felt uncertain. They helped you read danger, preserve belonging, and reduce conflict. They were not foolish. They were not evidence that you were broken. They were intelligent responses to what you knew and what you had available. You do not need to hate the part of you that learned them. That part was trying to protect you. It watched carefully because something once felt unpredictable. It worked hard because rest did not always feel safe. It made you useful because usefulness seemed like a reliable way to remain wanted. It learned to forgive quickly because anger threatened connection. It learned to move on before it was ready because waiting for understanding felt too painful. Some part of you may still believe that love can disappear if you become inconvenient. That belief can make you incredibly tender with others and incredibly demanding with yourself. You give them context. You give yourself a verdict. You give them time. You give yourself a deadline. You give them another chance. You give yourself another reason to feel ashamed. The difference can be so automatic that you do not see it happening. A friend says they are exhausted, and you tell them to rest. You are exhausted, and you tell yourself to try harder. Someone else becomes emotional, and you understand that they have reached their limit. You become emotional, and you accuse yourself of overreacting. Another person needs reassurance, and you offer it freely. You need reassurance, and you feel embarrassed. You can spend an entire day responding to everyone around you while postponing the one conversation your own heart has been waiting for. It waits while you answer messages. It waits while you finish one more task. It waits while you make sure everyone is comfortable. It waits while you perform the familiar version of "I'm fine." By evening, you may not even know what you feel. You only know that something inside you has become heavy. You distract yourself. You scroll, you clean, you organize, you watch another episode, you think about tomorrow. You search for a solution to a pain that may not need to be solved before it is heard. There are feelings that do not become lighter through analysis. They become lighter through companionship. Not someone standing above them with instructions. Someone sitting beside them without shame. This is what your heart may have been missing. Not better arguments, not stricter discipline, not another demand to become less affected. It may have been missing the experience of being accompanied by you. That can sound strange at first. How can you accompany yourself when you are already here? You are physically present, but you may have learned to leave the room emotionally whenever your own pain appears. You move into judgment. You move into fixing. You move into comparison. You move into the imagined opinions of other people. You stop asking, "What am I feeling?" You start asking, "What should I be feeling by now?" The second question contains a clock. It assumes there is an approved schedule for grief, trust, confidence, forgiveness, courage, and change. It assumes that every heart should move through every experience at the same speed. It turns healing into a race no one agreed to enter. This is where the garden begins. Imagine a wide garden warmed by the same sun. In one bed, tomato vines climb their supports. Their leaves are bright and fragrant, and small green fruit hangs beneath them. By June, some tomatoes begin to change. Green softens toward gold. Gold deepens into orange. Orange warms into red. Across the garden, broad pumpkin leaves spread close to the earth. Their vines travel in another way. Their yellow flowers open. The fruit begins quietly beneath the leaves, pale at first, then rounder, heavier, and more certain. June arrives. The tomatoes redden. The pumpkins do not. The garden does not stand over the pumpkin vine and ask what is taking so long. The sun does not withdraw its warmth because the pumpkin has failed to become a tomato. The soil does not shame one root system for moving at a different pace than another. No one walks through a healthy garden in June, points at a green pumpkin, and declares it hopeless because a tomato nearby is ready to be picked. The difference is understood. One ripens in June, another ripens in October. Same garden, same sun, different season. The pumpkin is not late. It is becoming according to its own design. You may have spent years standing over your heart like an impatient gardener, mistaking a different season for a failure. You may look at someone who trusts easily and ask why you remain cautious. You may see another person begin again after loss and wonder why you still feel tired. You may watch someone speak confidently, set a boundary, leave a difficult situation, forgive themselves, fall in love, create something new, or move toward a dream, and you may decide that their readiness proves your delay. It does not. Their season tells you about them. It does not deliver a verdict about you. A tomato becoming red does not accuse the pumpkin of being green. A flower opening early does not humiliate the seed still beneath the soil. Growth does not compete until the human mind turns difference into rank. You may have been doing this without realizing it. You compare your private beginning with someone else's visible result. You compare the day you finally named what happened with the year someone else says they moved beyond it. You compare your trembling first boundary with another person's confident refusal. Then you call yourself slow. Slow according to whom? The calendar may measure days, but it cannot measure what those days have required from you. Two people may experience something that looks similar from the outside and need completely different kinds of repair. One may have support. One may be alone. One may have words for what happened. One may still be trying to understand it. One may be dealing with a single wound. Another may feel an old history opening beneath a new event. The surface never tells the whole story. You know this when you look at other people. You understand context. You understand that behavior has roots. You understand that a person can be doing their best while still struggling. Your own struggle deserves that same depth of understanding. This does not mean you must remain exactly where you are. A garden is not passive. It is alive with movement. Roots reach, leaves turn, fruit forms, soil changes. Growth is taking place even when no dramatic result is visible. The absence of visible proof is not the absence of life. Some of the most important changes happen before anyone can point to them. A root strengthens underground. A vine finds direction. A flower prepares to open. A heart begins to question an old belief. A person pauses before apologizing for a need. A hand reaches for the phone, then chooses not to send the message that would erase a boundary. A voice trembles but tells the truth. A tired person rests for 10 minutes without earning it first. These moments may look small. They are not. They are early signs of a new season. Your heart may be changing in ways that do not yet look impressive. It may be learning that discomfort does not always mean danger. It may be learning that another person's disappointment does not automatically mean you have done something wrong. It may be learning that love and self-erasure are not the same thing. Such learning rarely arrives all at once. Old habits may return. You may understand a truth in the morning and forget it during a difficult conversation. You may feel clear while alone and become uncertain when someone questions you. You may set a boundary, then spend hours wondering whether to take it back. This does not cancel your growth. A vine can bend in the wind without forgetting where its roots are. You do not need a flawless performance to prove that change is real. Your heart has lived through repetition. It often heals through repetition, too. One kind response toward yourself may feel unfamiliar. The 10th may feel possible. The 100th may begin to feel like home. You have offered repetition to others. You have reassured the same friend more than once. You have reminded people of their worth after they forgot. You have repeated hope when someone could not hold it for themselves. You did not accuse them of failing because they needed to hear it again. What if your own heart is also permitted to hear love more than once? What if needing repetition is not evidence that the message is false? What if the part of you that doubts care is not rejecting you, but checking whether you truly mean it? Trust does not grow because it is ordered to grow. It grows through consistent experience. A garden cannot be shouted into ripening. You cannot stand above a green fruit and criticize it into sweetness. Pressure may bruise what time is already shaping. This is where many caring people become cruel to themselves without intending to. They believe criticism is a form of cultivation. They say, "I should know better. I should be stronger. I should be over this. I should not need so much reassurance. I should not care what they think. I should have left sooner. I should have spoken up. I should have seen it." Every should stands over the past with information the past did not yet possess. You know more now. That does not mean the earlier version of you was foolish. It means the earlier version was living with the tools, fears, hopes, and conditions available at that time. You might look back and see moments when you ignored yourself. Look deeper. You may also see a person trying to preserve something important. Safety, family, love, stability, belonging, hope, or the belief that things could improve. You can honor that person without repeating every choice they made. Compassion does not trap you in the past. It helps you stop fighting the one who survived it. There is a difference between responsibility and punishment. Responsibility says, "I can choose differently now." Punishment says, "I must hate who I was before I am permitted to change." Responsibility opens a path. Punishment keeps you staring at the place where you fell. Your heart does not need to be insulted into wisdom. It needs enough safety to tell the truth. Truth may be that you are angry. Truth may be that you miss someone who was not good for you. Truth may be that you love people you cannot remain close to. Truth may be that you are grateful for parts of a relationship and wounded by others. Truth may be that you want to forgive but are not ready. Truth may be that you have forgiven and still need distance. A mature heart can hold more than one reality. You do not have to reduce your experience to a sentence that makes everyone comfortable. You are permitted to have a complex inner world. The garden is complex too. One bed may be flowering while another is recovering from being cut back. One plant may need more space. Another may need support. A leaf can be damaged while the root remains strong. Fruit can be forming where no one sees it. Nothing in the garden demands that every living thing prove its worth in the same way. Yet you may have demanded this from yourself. You may believe your worth is most convincing when you are productive, cheerful, available, forgiving, calm, attractive, helpful, or easy to understand. When you cannot perform those qualities, you may fear that you have less to offer. But worth is not a crop you produce. It is not a harvest that appears only after enough effort. You do not become worthy by reaching October. You are worthy in June. You are worthy while green. You are worthy while forming. You are worthy while hidden beneath broad leaves, learning how to take up space without apology. This may touch a place in you that feels both relieved and afraid. Relief says, I do not have to rush. Fear says, if I stop rushing, I may never change. The fear deserves an answer. Patience is not the refusal to grow. It is the refusal to injure growth through contempt. You can want change without despising your current season. You can seek support without declaring yourself defective. You can practice new habits without turning every setback into evidence against you. You can say, I want more from my life, and still treat the life you have with respect. This is the balance your heart may never have been shown. You may have seen two extremes, harsh pressure or complete resignation. Push yourself without mercy or give up. Stay endlessly available or become cold. Forgive everything or close your heart. There is another way. You can be warm and boundaried. You can be understanding and honest. You can care about someone and refuse what harms you. You can value progress and respect your pace. You can be accountable without being abusive toward yourself. The garden does not choose between care and direction. It offers both. A vine may be guided toward a support. Soil may be enriched. Weeds may be removed. Space may be created. A damaged branch may be cut so the plant can put energy somewhere healthier. Care is not the absence of choice. Care shapes the conditions in which healthy choice becomes possible. Your heart may need better conditions, not louder criticism. It may need time away from voices that confuse cruelty with honesty. It may need relationships where your no is not treated as betrayal. It may need moments in which you do not explain yourself beyond what is true. It may need food, movement, quiet, laughter, tears, or qualified support. It may need the freedom to change its mind. It may need to stop being exposed to the same harm while being told to heal from it. Most of all, it may need your language to change. Words create atmosphere. You know this because you have used words to comfort others. A sentence can lower the temperature of fear. A calm response can make another person feel less alone. One sincere reminder can interrupt a spiral of shame. Your own inner language creates atmosphere too. When you say, "What is wrong with me?" your heart hears accusation. When you say, "Why am I still like this?" it hears impatience. When you say, "I should be better by now," It hears that love is waiting at the finish line. What could you say instead? Not a perfect affirmation you are forced to believe, not a bright sentence pasted over real pain. A kinder question may be enough. What has this required from me? What am I protecting? What part of me needs companionship? What condition would make growth feel safer? Questions like these do not excuse harmful behavior. They do not remove responsibility. They create enough room for honesty to enter without being attacked. And honesty is where meaningful change begins. The woman in the quiet kitchen did not know this yet. She still believed she had two choices. She could continue being the strong one, or she could disappoint everyone. She could keep giving, or she could become selfish. She could push through her exhaustion, or admit that something in her life had become unsustainable. She did not yet understand that the choice was not between kindness and herself. The choice was whether kindness would finally include her. For years, she had imagined tenderness as something that moved outward. It traveled through her voice, her hands, her time, her attention, her patience. It reached everyone she loved. But tenderness had another direction. It could return, not as a reward after she had taken care of everyone, not as a small remainder at the end of the day, not as permission granted only when she had no more strength. It could become part of the way she lived. The thought frightened her because she misunderstood what it would require. She imagined dramatic boundaries, painful confrontations, and a complete transformation of her personality. She imagined becoming someone unrecognizable. Real change often begins more quietly. A gardener does not wake the whole garden to announce that the season is shifting. The light changes by degrees. The air becomes different. A leaf turns, a fruit deepens in color. The woman's first change was almost invisible. She stood in the kitchen with both hands on the counter, heard the familiar accusation inside her, and did not immediately agree with it. "What is wrong with you?" The sentence came. Then there was a pause. Inside that pause, another question began to form. It was not yet clear enough for her to speak. It did not arrive with confidence. It was only a small movement beneath the surface, like a root finding softer soil. The old voice demanded an explanation for her exhaustion. The new question wanted to know what her exhaustion had been trying to say. She was not ready to answer. Readiness was not required. The question itself was growth. You may be in such a pause now. An old voice may still be speaking. It may tell you to hurry, perform, forgive, fix, respond, prove, or keep everyone comfortable. You do not have to defeat that voice today. You can become curious about it. You can ask what it fears would happen if you treated yourself with the patience you offer others. Would you become careless? Would people leave? Would important things remain unfinished? Would you finally feel the grief you have kept beneath activity? Would you discover that some relationships depend on your self-neglect? These are not small fears. They deserve more than a slogan. They deserve steady attention and a form of honesty that does not rush toward an answer. The garden can teach this too. You do not dig up a seed every morning to check whether it is growing. Constant inspection would destroy the process you are trying to confirm. You prepare the soil. You offer what supports life. You protect what is tender. Then you respect the work you cannot see. There is work happening inside you that cannot be measured by how cheerful you appear. You may be developing discernment. You may be learning to feel anger without becoming cruel. You may be separating guilt from responsibility. You may be discovering that disappointment is survivable. You may be grieving the version of yourself who accepted too little because they did not know more was possible. You may be growing the capacity to remain present when someone misunderstands you. None of this is visible in the way a finished result is visible. It is still real. The tomato and the pumpkin stand beneath the same sun, but the sun does not ask them to become the same. The care you offer yourself does not need to look like anyone else's care. For one person, it may mean speaking. For another, it may mean becoming quiet. For one, it may mean returning. For another, leaving. For one, asking for help. For another, trusting the answer they already know. Your season has its own instructions. You hear those instructions more clearly when shame becomes quieter. Shame creates noise. It repeats old judgments until they sound like facts. It tells you that compassion will make you weak. It insists that your pain is evidence against you. It takes a temporary season and turns it into an identity. You are not the season passing through you. You are the living presence moving within it. A garden in June is not incomplete because October has not arrived. It is June. June has its own work. Your present moment has its own work too. It may not be the work of blooming publicly. It may be the work of strengthening roots. It may not be the work of making a final decision. It may be the work of becoming honest about what the decision involves. It may not be the work of forgiving. It may be the work of stopping the harm. It may not be the work of feeling confident. It may be the work of taking one action while your voice still shakes. You do not have to call early growth failure because it does not resemble a finished harvest. You can stop using another person's season as a weapon against your own. That comparison has never made your heart safer. It has only made your pain lonelier. Your heart does not need loneliness added to what it already carries. It needs a witness who does not turn away when progress is slow. It needs someone who understands that green is not wrong. It needs someone who remembers that October fruit is already becoming itself in June. You can become that someone, not perfectly, not all at once, not through another performance, through small acts of faithful attention, a pause before self-criticism, a hand placed over a tired chest, a boundary left unexplained after it has been clearly stated, a meal eaten before every task is complete. A message answered later, a feeling named without being judged. A truth written privately before it is spoken publicly. These acts may seem ordinary. The garden is built from ordinary things: soil, water, light, time, protection, space. Nothing flashy is required for life to continue becoming. Your heart may not need a dramatic rescue. It may need a different daily climate. Less accusation, more curiosity, less comparison, more respect for its season, less pressure to appear healed, more room to become whole in a way that is honest. The woman in the kitchen would eventually discover that the question forming inside her had been waiting for years. It would change the way she understood care, strength, and the strange exhaustion of being endlessly available. But before she could hear the full question, she had to learn something about gardens. She had to learn why the tomato could redden in June without becoming superior to the pumpkin. She had to learn why October was not an apology. She had to learn why forcing a season never creates sweetness. And once you see what the garden has always known, you may stop calling your own heart late. The garden never confuses patience with neglect. It does not ignore what is growing. It does not turn away from signs of strain. It does not call every difficulty natural and leave each plant to struggle alone. Patience in a garden is active. It watches. It responds. It gives support without demanding performance. This distinction matters. You may have heard people use patience as a reason to remain in pain. You may have been told to wait while someone repeated the same harmful behavior. You may have been asked to understand endlessly, forgive without repair, stay quiet for the sake of peace, or trust that time would change what another person refused to address. That is not the patience your heart needs. A gardener does not look at a damaged stem and say, "Be patient," while continuing to bend it. A gardener does not leave a plant in poisoned soil and call its suffering part of the process. A gardener does not blame the fruit for failing to thrive where its roots cannot breathe. True care pays attention to conditions. It asks whether there is enough light. It asks whether the soil can hold life. It asks whether the roots have space. It asks whether something is taking more than it gives. You deserve that kind of attention. Your slower season may not mean you need more pressure. It may mean the conditions around you need to change. You may need distance from the person whose words keep reopening the same wound. You may need rest from the role that requires you to be emotionally available at every hour. You may need to stop explaining a boundary to someone who only listens for opportunities to argue with it. You may need support from people who do not benefit from your silence. You may need to name what happened without turning it into a lesson before you are ready. Growth is not only an inner decision, it is also a relationship with your environment. A healthy plant can struggle in the wrong place. That struggle does not prove the plant is weak. It reveals something about what surrounds it. This can be difficult to accept when you have been trained to take responsibility for every atmosphere you enter. You may walk into tension and immediately ask what you did. Someone becomes distant and you search your memory. Someone answers coldly and you question your tone. Someone is disappointed and you feel compelled to fix it. You may not even ask whether their reaction belongs to them. You may not consider that another person can be uncomfortable without you being guilty. You may not consider that someone can dislike your boundary and still be responsible for respecting it. Instead, you turn yourself into the soil, the weather, the gardener, and the plant all at once. You assume you must control every condition and every outcome. That is too much responsibility for one heart. You are responsible for your choices. You are not responsible for preventing every misunderstanding. You are responsible for speaking as honestly as you can. You are not responsible for making the truth pleasant to everyone who hears it. You are responsible for how you treat others. You are not responsible for abandoning yourself so no one ever feels disappointed. The garden does not ask one pumpkin vine to manage the whole field. It gives the vine its own place to root. Your life needs that same clarity. What is yours? What belongs to someone else? What can you tend? What must you stop trying to control? These questions can return your energy to you. You may have spent years sending that energy outward, trying to predict reactions and prevent rupture. You may have believed that if you were careful enough, thoughtful enough, loving enough, and forgiving enough, no one would leave, become angry, misunderstand you, or withdraw affection. That belief can turn kindness into vigilance. The care looks warm from the outside. Inside, it may feel like fear. You remember birthdays because you love people, but also because forgetting feels dangerous. You answer quickly because you care, but also because delay may be interpreted as rejection. You soften every sentence because you value connection, but also because directness once had consequences. You offer reassurance because you are compassionate, but also because another person's distress can make your whole body tense. There is no shame in seeing both sides. Your generosity is real. Your fear is real too. Healing does not require you to deny either one. It asks you to separate love from the pressure that has attached itself to love. Love can answer later. Love can say no. Love can leave a room where respect is absent. Love can refuse to carry a responsibility that was never yours. Love can let another person feel what they feel without rushing to remove it. Your heart may need time to believe this. For a long time, love may have meant effort. It may have meant anticipating, repairing, adjusting, proving, and enduring. Resting inside a relationship may feel unfamiliar. Receiving without immediately giving something back may make you uneasy. Being cared for may awaken the question of what will be expected later. So you stay prepared. You keep part of yourself standing guard. You listen for changes in tone. You look for the hidden price attached to kindness. You may even distrust people who treat you well because your body has learned that warmth can be temporary. This does not mean you are incapable of love. It means your system remembers conditions that your conscious mind may be trying to move beyond. A garden remembers conditions too. Soil that has been depleted does not become rich because someone tells it to be grateful for the sunlight. It may need nourishment. It may need time. It may need careful work before it can hold what is planted there. Your heart is not a machine that can be reset by instruction. It is living. Living things respond to experience. They open where there is safety. They protect where there has been harm. They may reach toward warmth and still pull back when a shadow passes. You can respect this without surrendering your future to your past. Respect says, this response has a history. Surrender says, this response can never change. You are not required to choose surrender. You can understand where a reaction came from while creating a new experience around it. You can say, of course I became afraid, and then ask, what would support me now? You can say, of course I learned to over-explain, and then practice one clear sentence. You can say, of course I reach for reassurance, and then place one hand on your own heart before reaching for the phone. Compassion does not remove practice. It changes the atmosphere in which practice takes place. A plant tied too tightly to a support may grow, but the tie can cut into the stem. Guidance becomes harm when it leaves no room for movement. Your self-discipline may have become such a tie. You may organize every hour, monitor every feeling, evaluate every conversation, and measure every sign of progress. You may call it self-improvement. Some of it may help you. Some of it may be fear wearing a productive face. The question is not whether structure is good or bad. The question is whether your structure supports life or squeezes it. Does your routine help you feel present, or does it punish you for being human? Does your goal give you direction, or does it become another reason to dislike yourself? Does your reflection bring understanding, or does it turn into endless self-surveillance? Does your desire to grow make room for rest, or does rest feel like evidence that you are falling behind? A healthy garden has rhythm. There are times to plant, times to water, times to prune, times to wait, times when nothing visible happens, times when growth seems sudden because the unseen work has finally reached the surface. You may be living in one of the unseen times. This can feel especially painful in a world that rewards visible change. People celebrate the new job, the new relationship, the finished project, the confident announcement, the before and after picture. They rarely applaud the evening you did not send the desperate message. They do not see the moment you recognized an old pattern and chose to pause. They may never know that you sat in your car and breathed until the urge to betray yourself passed. They may not understand the courage it took to say, I need time to think. They may not see the hours in which you were grieving an identity you had outgrown. The invisible work has no audience. It is still sacred. Roots do not stop growing because no one praises them. Your growth does not become less real because no one knows how hard it is. This is why comparison can be so cruel. You compare visible outcomes while the causes remain hidden. You see someone's harvest and not the years of support beneath it. You see a confident boundary and not the therapy, friendship, practice, mistakes, fear, and repair that helped make it possible. You see someone trusting love and not the safe experiences that slowly taught their body what safety felt like. Then you turn toward your own beginning and call it inadequate. The garden would never make that comparison. It would not compare a fruit tree with an herb. It would not compare a new seedling with a vine that has returned for years. It would not compare the bed that received rich soil with the corner that spent a season recovering. It would respond to what is actually present. Can you begin to do the same? Not what you believe should be present, not what someone your age is supposed to have accomplished, not what your family expected, not what a former version of you promised. What is here now? Perhaps there is fatigue. Perhaps there is a desire you are afraid to name. Perhaps there is relief mixed with grief. Perhaps there is anger beneath your politeness. Perhaps there is a boundary waiting behind a long explanation. Perhaps there is hope, small but alive. Whatever is here does not need to be made beautiful before it can be met. A gardener does not demand that the soil apologize for being dry. The dryness is information. It tells the gardener what is needed. Your emotions are information too. They are not always instructions. Anger does not always mean you must act immediately. Fear does not always mean danger is present. Sadness does not always mean you chose wrongly. But each feeling carries something worth hearing. Anger may reveal a crossed boundary. Fear may reveal an old memory or a current risk. Sadness may reveal that something mattered. Jealousy may reveal a desire you have not permitted yourself to acknowledge. Exhaustion may reveal that your giving has exceeded your replenishment. You do not have to obey every emotion. You can listen without surrendering your judgment. This is a softer form of strength. It does not silence the heart. It invites the heart into the decision. For many people, this is new. Decisions were made through obligation, fear, habit, or the need to keep peace. The body's response was ignored. The heart was consulted only after everything else had been considered. You may have been taught that your feelings are unreliable. At times, feelings can be shaped by old wounds. That does not make them useless. It means they need context, patience, and sometimes help from trusted people or qualified professionals. A signal can be imperfect and still deserve attention. If a plant's leaves begin to curl, a wise gardener does not shame the leaves. The gardener becomes curious about heat, water, roots, insects, or soil. The sign is not treated as betrayal. It is treated as communication. Your anxiety, numbness, irritability, or fatigue may also be communication. Not proof that you caused every difficulty, not proof that you are failing spiritually, not proof that you need to think more positively. Communication. Something in you may be asking for support, change, protection, grief, rest, or truth. You can listen without diagnosing yourself. You can seek help without making yourself wrong. You can take your experience seriously, even when you cannot explain it completely. This is one way softness becomes practical. Softness is not only a warm thought, it is the way you respond to a signal. Harshness says, "Stop feeling this." Softness says, "Something is happening. Let me understand." Harshness says, "You are too much." Softness says, "This may be more than you should carry alone." Harshness says, "Get over it." Softness says, "Let us find the next safe step." This does not make life effortless. It makes your inner life less hostile. There will still be decisions. There will still be consequences. There will still be moments when you must do something difficult while afraid. But difficulty changes when you are not fighting yourself at the same time. A plant facing a strong wind needs roots, not insults. Your hard season needs roots too. Roots may look like routines that support your body. They may look like one friend who can hear the truth. They may look like a professional who understands what you are experiencing. They may look like a boundary you repeat without adding another paragraph. They may look like returning to a practice after you miss a day without turning the missed day into a character judgment. Roots are often quiet. They do not announce themselves. They hold. What holds you when your confidence disappears? What remains when someone does not approve? What truth can you return to when the old voice says you are late? These questions matter because every growing thing needs something deeper than applause. Approval can feel like sunlight, but it changes quickly when it comes from people. One day you are praised for being giving. The next day you are criticized for not giving enough. One day you are admired for your strength. The next day your strength is used as a reason to deny you care. One day someone says they value your honesty. The next day they withdraw because your honesty is inconvenient. If your roots depend entirely on approval, every reaction becomes weather. You begin adjusting your shape to survive the forecast. You become warmer when warmth is rewarded, quieter when truth creates tension, smaller when your presence is questioned, more useful when you fear being forgotten. A life built this way can look loving and feel exhausting. Your heart deserves a steadier source of belonging. This belonging does not require you to believe every beautiful statement immediately. It can begin with a decision not to use your own vulnerability against yourself. When you are afraid, do not call yourself pathetic. When you miss someone, do not call yourself foolish. When you make a mistake, do not turn one action into a permanent identity. When you need support, do not treat need as failure. This is not indulgence. It is emotional accuracy. A mistake means a mistake was made. It does not mean you are the mistake. Fear means fear is present. It does not mean fear knows the whole future. Grief means something has been lost. It does not mean joy has disappeared forever. Words matter because they decide whether an experience becomes a moment or a prison. The garden has no word for shame. A bent stem is not called bad. A late flower is not called lazy. A Dhamma, dead leaf is not called unworthy. The condition is seen. The response is adjusted. You can learn this language. You can replace accusation with description. Instead of I am weak, you might say, I feel overwhelmed. Instead of I ruin everything, you might say, I regret what happened and I want to understand my part. Instead of I am impossible to love, you might say, this rejection touched an old wound. Instead of I am behind, you might say, my life is moving through a season I did not expect. Description creates movement. Accusation freezes identity. You are not trying to excuse everything. You are trying to tell the truth in a form that does not destroy the person who must live it. This is how accountability becomes useful. If you need to apologize, apologize. If you need to repair, repair. If you need to change a pattern, begin. But do not confuse self-hatred with sincerity. You do not prove that you understand harm by harming yourself. The garden does not improve soil by burning the roots. It adds what has been missing. What has been missing for you? A consistent voice, permission to rest, protection from criticism, a place where you do not have to perform, a way to express anger that does not frighten you, someone who believes your experience, the freedom to say that something was not acceptable, even if the person who did it was also hurting. You are permitted to need more than insight. Understanding why you feel something is not always enough to change it. You may know exactly why you fear abandonment and still feel the fear. You may know that a relationship is unhealthy and still grieve it. You may understand that rest is necessary and still feel guilty when you stop. Knowledge opens the gate. Practice walks through it. Practice may be awkward. The first time you let a message wait, you may not feel peaceful. You may feel anxious. The first time you say no without explaining, your body may behave as though danger is near. The first time you ask for help, you may want to take the request back. Do not use discomfort as proof that the choice is wrong. Newness can feel unsafe before it becomes familiar. A pumpkin vine spreading into new space does not know the whole garden. It reaches by degrees. It finds ground. It changes direction when it meets an obstacle. It does not shame itself for not seeing the entire path. You do not need the full map. You need the next honest movement. That movement may be small enough that no one else recognizes it. You recognize it. You know the old pattern. You know what it usually asks you to do. When you choose 1 degree differently, the future shifts by 1 degree too. Not through magic, through direction. A boundary repeated becomes a new standard. A pause practiced becomes discernment. Rest accepted becomes capacity. Support received becomes evidence that you do not have to do everything alone. A compassionate sentence repeated becomes a new inner atmosphere. These changes accumulate. Growth is often accumulation before it is transformation. Drop by drop, the soil changes. Choice by choice, the heart learns. You may be impatient with this. You may want one insight to remove every old reaction. You may want to hear a sentence tonight and wake without fear tomorrow. Your longing is understandable. You are tired of carrying the same pattern. But speed is not the only measure of progress. Durability matters. A lesson forced into the mind may disappear under pressure. A lesson practiced in the body becomes something you can return to when pressure arrives. This is why your season cannot be rushed. You are not only trying to understand softness, you are learning to live inside it. That means discovering what softness does when someone is angry with you, what it does when you disappoint yourself, what it does when grief returns after a good week, what it does when an old urge becomes strong, what it does when you must leave something you still love. Softness is tested in ordinary moments. It is easy to speak kindly to yourself when nothing is threatened. The deeper practice begins when the old fear says that kindness will cost you belonging. This is the question that waited beneath the woman's exhaustion in the kitchen. If she stopped giving past her limits, would she still be loved? If she no longer anticipated every need, would people still want her? If she spoke honestly, would she become difficult? If she offered herself the same understanding she gave everyone else, would she become selfish? She did not yet know that these fears had shaped nearly every relationship in her life. She only knew that she was tired. The body often knows before the story becomes clear. It tightens around what the mind has normalized. It becomes heavy beneath roles the heart can no longer carry. It loses energy for performances that once felt necessary. Exhaustion is not always a request for more sleep. At times, it is a request for a more truthful life. This does not mean every tired day contains a dramatic message. Bodies need ordinary care, medical attention when appropriate, nourishment, movement, rest, and support. But when exhaustion returns around the same people, the same obligations, or the same silencing of your needs, curiosity may be wise. Where does your energy disappear? Where do you become less like yourself? Where do you leave a conversation and begin arguing against your own perception? Where do you feel responsible for keeping another person comfortable at the cost of your honesty? These places deserve attention, not immediate judgment. Attention. A gardener notices patterns. One wilted afternoon may mean heat. Repeated wilting in the same spot may reveal a deeper problem. Your experiences also form patterns. You may feel calm until a certain person contacts you. You may feel confident until someone questions your memory. You may feel rested until you think about a particular obligation. You may feel hopeful until you compare your life with someone else's. Patterns are information. They can help you locate where tenderness is needed and where change may be necessary. Your heart does not need you to solve every pattern today. It needs you to stop pretending you cannot see them. Denial may have protected you when options were limited. It may have helped you continue when confronting the truth felt too dangerous. There is no shame in that. But when more support, choice, or safety becomes possible, the old protection can soften. You can look at what is true now. You can say, "This relationship asks me to disappear." You can say, "This pace is not sustainable." You can say, "I keep calling this patience, but I am actually waiting for someone to become accountable." You can say, "I have been treating my pain as an inconvenience. Truth may ache." It also returns you to your own life. The woman in the kitchen had not returned to hers yet. She still measured the day by how many people she had helped. She still believed fatigue was a flaw in her character. She still thought the answer was to become more organized, more disciplined, and less sensitive. She made lists. She woke earlier. She promised herself she would complain less. For a few days, the structure held. Then the heaviness returned. She stood again at the same counter. The same accusation rose. "What is wrong with you?" This time, the new question came closer. "What if nothing is wrong with you?" She almost rejected it. The sentence felt too kind. Kindness can feel unbelievable when criticism has been presented as truth. She looked through the window and saw the garden outside, dim in the evening light. Earlier that summer, she had planted tomatoes along the fence and pumpkins farther back, where the vines would have room to spread. The tomatoes were already bright. The pumpkins were still green. For reasons she could not explain, she kept looking at them. She had never called the pumpkins late. She had never stood over them in June and demanded October. She had never questioned whether they deserved water while still unripe. She had cared for what they were before they became what they would be. The thought reached a place in her that had been waiting quietly. Would she ever offer her self-care before she became the person she thought she should be? That question did not disappear when she turned away from the window. It followed her into the next day. It followed her when she answered a message while eating breakfast. It followed her when she agreed to something she did not have energy for. It followed her when she told a friend, "Please be patient with yourself." The words sounded different in her own ears. She had been speaking wisdom outward and living by another law inward. You may be doing the same. You may already know what your heart needs. Diaz, because you have been offering it to everyone else. Patience, permission, context, rest, a second chance, a safe place to tell the whole truth. You know the language. The next part is learning that you are included in it. You are not outside the circle of your own compassion. You are not the one person who must earn what you give freely. You are not required to reach October before you deserve water. The same sun can warm you now. The same care can meet you now. The same patience can belong to the part of you that is still green, still forming, still learning how to trust a life that does not demand self-abandonment as the price of love. The garden has never asked you to ripen through force. It has only asked for the conditions in which what is true can grow. Truth grows differently when it is not being threatened. It does not need to shout. It does not need to prove itself in one perfect sentence. It can begin as a quiet recognition in the body, a small refusal to dismiss what you already know, or a moment in which you stop arguing against your own experience. You may not yet know what every truth in your life asks you to do. You can still acknowledge that it is there. You may know that you are tired without knowing what must change. You may know that a relationship hurts without knowing whether it can be repaired. You may know that you need more support without knowing whom to trust. You may know that the pace of your life is draining you without having a plan for a different one. Not knowing the whole answer does not make the first truth less true. A seed does not contain a visible map of every leaf it will grow. It begins with direction held quietly inside it. The unfolding comes through contact with soil, light, space, and time. Your next step may also become clear through contact, through a conversation in which you are not interrupted, through an hour of rest that reveals how exhausted you have been, through distance that lets you hear your own thoughts again, through writing down what happened without explaining it away, through the steady presence of someone trustworthy, through professional support that gives language to what has felt confusing. Clarity is not always something you force from the mind. At times, it appears when pressure decreases. This is why softness matters. Softness is not decoration around healing. It changes what becomes possible. A frightened heart does not reveal everything while it is being scolded. A tired body does not recover while being treated like an inconvenience. A person cannot learn self-trust while every inner signal is immediately questioned. Softness creates the conditions in which truth can speak. It says, you do not have to present your case perfectly. It says, you are permitted to take your own experience seriously. It says, we can look at this without making you the enemy. When this kind of language enters your inner world, you may expect immediate relief. Sometimes relief comes. Sometimes grief comes first. You may realize how long you have been living without the care you needed. You may remember moments when you asked too little, accepted too much, stayed silent, or turned your pain into another opportunity to understand someone else. Do not use this new awareness to punish the person you were. Awareness arrives when it can. You did not fail by seeing today what you could not safely see before. A pumpkin does not apologize in October for having been green in June. Its earlier state was not a mistake. It was part of becoming. Your earlier self was becoming too. That person may have believed love required endless patience. They may have believed strength meant never needing help. They may have believed that leaving, refusing, resting, or asking would make them ungrateful. They may have been loyal to hope because hope was the only thing keeping them steady. Look at that person with the same depth you would offer a dear friend. You would not stand over a friend's past and demand, "Why did you not know then what you know now?" You would ask what made the truth difficult to see. You would remember the fear, the attachment, the promises, the limited choices, the longing, the pressure, and the human wish for things to become better. You would not reduce them to one decision. You are worthy of that same understanding. This is not the same as saying every choice was healthy. You can recognize what harmed you. You can admit what you regret. You can change how you live now. Compassion does not erase consequences. It prevents consequences from becoming a lifelong sentence against your worth. You are more than what you accepted. You are more than the moment you stayed silent. You are more than the message you sent when you were afraid. You are more than the person who did not yet know how to leave. Growth becomes honest when it no longer requires you to hate your beginning. The garden does not hate the seed for being small. It protects what is not ready to stand in open air. Your tender places may also need protection, not secrecy rooted in shame, protection rooted in wisdom. There are experiences you do not owe to everyone. There are details that belong only in trustworthy spaces. There are truths that need to be spoken where they will not be mocked, twisted, or used against you. You may have confused openness with goodness. You may have believed that a loving person explains everything, reveals everything, and keeps every door open. But a garden without any boundary is not more loving. It is exposed. A fence can protect what is growing. A boundary can preserve life. You can choose who enters your inner garden. You can decide which conversations are safe. You can stop presenting your pain to people who repeatedly prove that they do not know how to hold it. This is not bitterness. It is stewardship. You are responsible for the conditions around what is healing. That may mean limiting contact. It may mean asking for a different kind of conversation. It may mean ending an exchange when respect disappears. It may mean seeking guidance from someone trained to help you understand patterns that have become difficult to change alone. You do not become less spiritual, less strong, or less worthy because support is needed. Every healthy garden depends on relationship. Soil holds roots. Roots receive nourishment. Leaves turn toward light. Living things do not thrive through isolation alone. You were never required to become your only source of care. Self-love does not mean never needing anyone. It means refusing to abandon your own well-being in order to keep someone close. It means becoming an ally to yourself while still receiving wisdom, help, companionship, and care from others. This is where the central sentence of this season begins. Do not force it. Let it meet you exactly where you are. My heart deserves the same softness I give so freely to others. You may feel something open. You may feel resistance. Both responses belong. Say it again more gently. My heart deserves the same softness I give so freely to others. The word you may resist is deserves. You may be comfortable saying that your heart needs softness. Need can sound temporary. Need can sound practical. Deserves reaches deeper. It suggests that care is not payment for being good. It suggests that your heart does not have to impress anyone before kindness can reach it. It suggests that dignity is present even when you are confused, reactive, grieving, uncertain, or still learning. That can challenge an old system inside you. If care was given only when you behaved correctly, you may believe it can be withdrawn whenever you make a mistake. If affection depended on being useful, you may believe rest reduces your value. If you were praised for being mature while your needs were ignored, you may associate love with emotional self-control. Deserves interrupts all of this. It says your worth does not rise and fall with your performance. It says your heart remains human on difficult days. It says softness is not a prize waiting beyond perfection. My heart deserves the same softness I give so freely to others. You do not need to feel certain. A sentence can be practiced before it feels familiar. The garden receives light before the fruit knows what color it will become. Some truths arrive first as an environment. You repeat them. You live near them. You test them in small moments. Over time, the body begins to recognize what the mind has been learning. Perhaps you cannot yet say that you deserve softness. Do not turn that resistance into another failure. Say only, I am willing to believe that my heart can be treated with softness. Willingness is enough for this moment. It does not require certainty. It does not ask you to deny the voices that disagree. It creates a small opening beside them. I am willing to believe that my heart can be treated with softness. You may notice that this line feels safer. It does not demand that you cross the whole distance today. It asks only whether a different relationship with yourself might be possible. Possibility is a beginning. Your mind may respond with questions. What if I become selfish? What if I stop taking responsibility? What if I use softness as an excuse? These fears are understandable, especially if self-compassion was never modeled clearly. Softness is not the refusal to be accountable. It changes the way accountability is carried. Harsh accountability says, "You did something wrong, so you are bad." Soft accountability says, "This action had an impact. Let us understand it and choose differently." Harshness wants punishment. Softness wants repair. Harshness protects identity by attacking it. Softness protects growth by telling the truth. You can apologize with softness. You can make amends with softness. You can accept consequences with softness. You can recognize a pattern and seek help with softness. The garden is not careless because it does not shame the plant. Care and direction belong together. A branch may need support. A vine may need space. A diseased section may need to be removed. The action can be clear without contempt. You can become clear without becoming cruel. This is important because some people have mistaken cruelty for honesty. They may have told you that their harsh words were for your own good. They may have treated humiliation as motivation. They may have said you were too sensitive when you reacted to disrespect. You do not have to continue that treatment inside your own mind. You can be honest in a voice that does not injure you. You can say, "I handled that poorly." You do not need to add, "I ruin everything." You can say, "I ignored my own boundary." You do not need to add, "I am hopeless." You can say, "I need support with this." You do not need to add, "I should be able to do it alone." Accuracy is stronger than abuse. Accuracy gives you something you can work with. Self-attack creates shame, and shame often sends people back toward the very patterns they are trying to change. You feel unworthy. You seek reassurance from the wrong place. You ignore what you know. You regret it. Then you attack yourself again. Softness interrupts the cycle. It does not promise you will never repeat a pattern. It helps you return more quickly when you do. Returning matters. A healthy relationship with yourself is not built by never leaving your center. It is built by learning the way back. You may still over-explain sometimes. You may still reach for your phone. You may still apologize when no apology is needed. You may still say yes and realize later that you meant no. When this happens, the old voice may declare that nothing has changed. Do not believe its impatience. Awareness after the pattern is progress. Awareness during the pattern is progress. Awareness before the pattern becomes choice. Every stage matters. A gardener does not throw away the season because one leaf curls. You do not need to discard your growth because an old habit returned. Ask what the return can teach you. Were you tired? Were you afraid? Did a familiar person activate an old role? Did you feel pressured to decide too quickly? Did you lack support? This is not an interrogation. It is information for future care. You are learning the conditions in which your old patterns become stronger and the conditions in which your wiser choices become easier. That knowledge is part of self-trust. Self-trust is not a promise that you will always know the correct answer. It is confidence that you will listen, learn, repair, and return. It is knowing that your mistakes will not cause you to become your own enemy. It is knowing that your feelings will be heard, even when they are not the only factor in a decision. It is knowing that you will seek help when something exceeds what you can safely carry alone. That last part matters deeply. Affirmations can support well-being. They can help reshape inner language, strengthen intention, and create moments of calm or recognition. They do not replace medical care, mental health care, legal advice, financial guidance, crisis support, or other qualified help when those are needed. You do not prove strength by avoiding support. You do not prove faith by ignoring symptoms. You do not prove love by remaining where you are being harmed. Peace does not mean staying silent inside danger. Softness does not require continued access for someone who repeatedly violates your safety, dignity, or boundaries. There are times when the kindest response is distance. There are times when a safe exit matters more than another conversation. There are times when trusted friends, community resources, advocates, healthcare providers, therapists, counselors, or other qualified professionals can help create the support that private reflection alone cannot provide. Reaching towards such help is not evidence that you failed to heal yourself. It is evidence that you are tending your life seriously. A garden may need more than sunlight. It may need skilled hands, stronger supports, treatment for disease, or protection from what is damaging it. Receiving that care does not make the garden weak. It helps life continue. Your life deserves practical care. Your heart deserves emotional care. Your body deserves attention. Your safety deserves priority. You do not have to romanticize suffering to make it meaningful. You do not have to turn every wound into wisdom before you are permitted to seek relief. Some things are painful because they are painful. Some losses need grief. Some situations need change. Some patterns need specialized support. Your healing becomes more trustworthy when it makes room for reality. This is the point the woman in the kitchen was slowly approaching. For several days, the question followed her. Would she offer herself care before she became the person she thought she should be? At first, she answered by doing what she had always done. She tried to improve herself. She wrote new plans. She reduced her breaks. She promised to become more efficient so that exhaustion would have no reason to remain. But exhaustion did remain. It returned each evening, not as punishment, but as information. One afternoon, a friend called. The friend was crying after making a choice she regretted. She spoke in circles. She repeated the same fear. She apologized for needing so much reassurance. The woman listened. She did not rush her. She said, "You made the best choice you could with what you understood then." The words entered the room and seemed to stop in the air. The woman heard them as though someone else had spoken. You made the best choice you could with what you understood then. She had offered versions of this sentence many times. That day, it turned toward her. She remembered choices from her own life that she still used as evidence against herself. Times she had stayed, times she had trusted, times she had ignored the tightness in her chest, times she had returned to people who had already shown her what they could offer. She had called herself foolish for years. Yet when her friend described a similar regret, she saw fear, hope, limited information, and the desire to be loved. Why had she refused that same context to herself? The question brought tears she had not expected. She finished the conversation. She walked outside. The tomatoes along the fence had deepened in color. The pumpkins remained green beneath their leaves. She sat on the ground between the two beds. For once, she did not turn the moment into a lesson for anyone else. She let it belong to her. The earth was warm beneath her palms. The air carried the green scent of vines. A bee moved between small yellow flowers. Nothing in the garden was rushing, yet nothing was still. She looked at the pumpkins and understood the answer that had been waiting in the quiet kitchen. Her tenderness had not disappeared when she turned toward herself. It had only entered unfamiliar ground. The problem was never that she lacked compassion. The problem was that she had excluded herself from the people compassion was meant to serve. She had treated her heart as the worker in the garden, never as something living within it. She expected it to tend everyone. She never asked what tended it. There, and between June tomatoes and October pumpkins, she finally heard the full question. Can I care for myself while I am still becoming? Not after, not when every pattern has changed, not when no one is disappointed, not when the past has been perfectly understood. Now, can I care for myself now? She did not answer with confidence. She placed one hand over her chest. For the first time, she did not ask what was wrong with her. She said, "You must be very tired." That was all. No grand promise, no complete transformation. One accurate, compassionate sentence. Her body responded before her mind did. Her shoulders lowered. Her breathing changed. The tears came more freely. She realized she had been waiting for permission to stop defending her own exhaustion. The garden had given no permission. It had shown her something older than permission. Living things need care while they are growing, not only after they have grown. This was the answer hidden in the kitchen. Your heart does not become deserving when it finishes healing. Care is part of how healing becomes possible. You do not water a plant because it has already produced fruit. You water it because it is alive. You do not offer your heart softness because it has finally learned every lesson. You offer softness because your heart is alive. It feels, it remembers, it hopes, it becomes tired, it tries again. Its livingness is enough. This truth may create a new question for you. If you no longer use criticism as your main source of movement, what will guide you? The answer is not comfort alone. It is relationship. A gardener learns the garden through relationship. Attention reveals what is needed. Consistency reveals what changes. Respect reveals what cannot be forced. You can build this relationship with yourself. Ask in the morning, what is present? Ask before saying yes, what will this require? Ask after a difficult interaction, what happened inside me? Ask when guilt appears, did I do something harmful, or did I simply disappoint someone? Ask when you feel behind, whose season am I using to judge mine? These questions return you to reality. They do not guarantee a painless answer. They make an honest answer more possible. You may discover that a commitment needs to end. You may discover that a fear needs support rather than obedience. You may discover that you are more capable than you believed. You may discover that your anger contains a boundary. You may discover that the life you built around being needed no longer fits the person you are becoming. That discovery can feel like loss. When a role has given you identity, stepping out of it may leave an empty space. Who are you if you are not always the strong one? Who are you if you do not solve every problem? Who are you if someone else must learn to care for themselves? Who are you when usefulness is no longer the only proof that you belong? The answers will not come all at once. This is the smaller question that will remain with you for a while. What grows in the space where self-neglect used to live? Do not rush to fill it. The garden does not panic over open soil. Open soil is not wasted, it is possibility. In that space, you may grow preferences you once suppressed. You may grow rest. You may grow friendships built on mutual care. You may grow anger that becomes protection instead of destruction. You may grow play, creativity, quiet, or ambition that belongs to you rather than to someone else's expectations. You may grow a voice that can say both yes and no without explaining its right to exist. Before any of that becomes visible, the space may feel unfamiliar. You may miss being needed. You may feel guilty when other people solve their own problems. You may interpret quiet as emptiness because chaos once made you feel important. This does not mean you should return to overgiving. It means the new garden is still taking shape. Old roles create familiar paths. Even painful paths can feel safe because you know where they lead. A new way of living asks you to walk where there is not yet a clear trail. Move slowly enough to hear yourself. You do not have to replace every habit at once. Choose one place where softness can become real. One conversation in which you do not over-explain. One evening in which you stop before exhaustion becomes collapse. One feeling you describe without insulting yourself. One request you make without apologizing for existing. One comparison you refuse to complete. One moment when you say, "My heart deserves the same softness I give so freely to others." Then watch what resistance appears. do not fight it. Listen. It may say, but other people need me. You can care for others without treating yourself as endless. It may say, I have no time. Softness can begin in the tone of one sentence. It may say, I do not believe this. Then return to willingness. I am willing to believe that my heart can be treated with softness. It may say, no one did this for me. Then let the grief be true. You deserved it then too. The fact that care was absent does not mean care was unnecessary. It may say, it is too late. The garden has no use for that sentence. Life can begin changing from the season that is here, not the season you wish had happened, not the season someone else reached sooner, this one. You do not need to deny the years that were hard. You do not need to pretend nothing was lost. You can mourn and grow in the same ground. Compost is not the same as forgetting. What has ended can become part of what nourishes the future without being called good, necessary, or deserved. You may carry wisdom from pain without thanking the pain for hurting you. You may become more discerning without believing betrayal was a gift. You may become stronger without claiming you needed to be broken. Your growth belongs to you. The harm does not get credit for the life you choose afterward. This is another form of softness, refusing to rewrite suffering into something beautiful before your heart is ready. Let what was difficult be difficult. Let what was unfair be unfair. Then ask what you want to cultivate now. The answer may be simple: safety, honesty, time, mutuality, respect, rest. These are not excessive desires. They are healthy conditions. You do not have to earn them through endless service. You can begin creating them through small, repeated choices. The woman in the garden did not become a different person that afternoon. She still cared deeply. She still answered calls. She still noticed when someone's voice changed, but something had shifted. Before offering all of herself, she began asking what she actually had to give. Before saying yes, she paused. Before calling herself selfish, she checked whether she was simply protecting a limit. The changes were imperfect. Some days she returned to old habits. Some people resisted. A few relationships became strained because they had been built around her constant availability. That pain was real. So was the new steadiness growing beneath it. She learned that love which requires her exhaustion is not made healthier by more exhaustion. She learned that another person's disappointment can pass through a room without becoming a verdict on her character. She learned that the pause before an automatic yes contains a whole future. You are entering such a pause now. The future is not asking for a dramatic promise. It is asking whether your heart can finally be included in the care you already know how to give. The answer does not have to be perfect. It can begin with willingness. It can begin with one softer sentence. It can begin with the understanding that the garden never called the pumpkin late. And it can begin with the question that will guide the next season. What may grow when you stop using your own tenderness only for everyone else? Something quieter may begin to grow there. Not emptiness, not selfishness, not coldness, space. Space to hear yourself before you answer. Space to feel the difference between love and fear. Space to recognize when you are giving from abundance and when you are giving because you are afraid of what will happen if you stop. Space to become a person who is not only available to others, but also present with herself. This kind of space can feel unfamiliar at first. When your life has been organized around responding, anticipating, fixing, and carrying, stillness may feel almost wrong. You may reach for a task before you know what you actually need. You may search for someone else's problem because another person's need feels easier to understand than your own. Do not judge this reflex. It was practiced for a long time. It may have helped you feel valuable. It may have given you a role in relationships where your inner life was rarely invited into the room. It may have protected you from the uncertainty of asking what you wanted. Wanting can feel risky when you have learned that disappointment is dangerous. Need can feel risky when you have learned that care is limited. Rest can feel risky when you have learned that your worth is measured by output. So the new space may first be filled with discomfort. Let the discomfort be information. It does not mean you are doing something wrong. It may mean you are no longer following an old path automatically. A garden bed that has been used the same way for years needs time when its pattern changes. The soil may need to settle, roots may need to loosen, new growth may appear slowly because the ground is learning another way to hold life. You are allowed that same transition. You do not need to fill every open space immediately. You do not need to answer every question today. You do not need to replace overgiving with a perfect new identity. You can let the old role become quieter before the next shape of your life is clear. There is wisdom in not rushing to define yourself. You have been defined by usefulness long enough. You have been known as the person who handles things, remembers things, understands things, forgives things, and keeps going. Those qualities are not false. They are not the whole garden. There are parts of you that may never have received enough room to grow. The part that wants to play without producing anything. The part that wants to be cared for without explaining why. The part that wants to change its mind. The part that wants to be quiet in company. The part that wants to create something no one asked for. The part that is tired of being admired for endurance. The part that longs to be known without performing strength. These parts may seem small because they have been kept beneath the leaves. Small does not mean unimportant. A pumpkin begins small. Its future weight is not visible at first. Your new life may also begin as a preference, a pause, a private refusal, or a sentence you say only to yourself. That is enough. Growth does not become more real when other people recognize it. It becomes real through repetition. One choice, then another. One moment of self-respect, then another. One interruption of the old pattern, then another. At first, the new choices may feel less natural than the old ones. This is not because they are wrong. Familiarity and truth are not always the same. A familiar relationship can be harmful. A familiar role can be exhausting. A familiar thought can be cruel. A truthful choice may feel strange because you have not lived inside it long enough yet. The garden does not reject new growth because it is tender. It gives it protection. You can protect your new choices too. You do not need to announce every boundary while it is still becoming steady. You do not need to share every new realization with people who have trained you to doubt yourself. You do not need to defend a change before you have had time to understand it. Some growth needs privacy, not secrecy rooted in fear, privacy rooted in care. You can let a new habit become strong before exposing it to every opinion. You can practice saying no in small places. You can practice asking for time. You can practice not filling the silence after a clear sentence. You can practice receiving kindness without immediately returning a favor. You can practice believing your body when it becomes tired. Every practice is a root. Every root changes what the season can hold. This is where a vow may become useful. Not a vow made through pressure. Not a promise that you will never repeat an old pattern. Not a demand for perfection. A vow is a direction. It tells your heart what you intend to tend. It becomes something you can return to when fear becomes louder. Let this vow be simple. This vow be, let it belong only to the garden. I tend my own season without calling it late. Say it once without measuring how much you believe. I tend my own season without calling it late. The word tend matters. Tending is not controlling. It is not forcing. It is not digging up the roots every morning to demand proof. Tending is attention. Tending is response. Tending is nourishment. Tending is protection. Tending is knowing when to wait and when to act. Tending is understanding that what is alive may need different care in different seasons. You may need courage in one season, rest in another, honesty in one, distance in another, support in one, silence in another. The vow does not tell you exactly what every day will require. It reminds you not to make yourself wrong for requiring something. I tend my own season without calling it late. You may return to this when comparison appears. You may return to it when someone pressures you to move faster than your truth. You may return to it when you feel ashamed of needing help. You may return to it when your progress is not visible. You may return to it after a setback. You may return to it after you say yes when you meant no. You may return without punishment. A vow that cannot survive imperfection is not a living vow. This one can. It does not say, I will always know what to do. It says, I will keep tending. It does not say, I will never compare. It says, I will not call my season late. It does not say, I will never need anyone. It says, my own life belongs inside my care. This may sound modest. It can change the atmosphere of an entire day. Imagine waking and not beginning with accusation. Imagine entering the morning without immediately listing everything you have failed to complete. Imagine looking at your face without searching for what must be corrected. Imagine asking before the day begins, what season am I in? Not what season should you be in. What season are you in? Are you recovering? Are you beginning? Are you grieving? Are you building? Are you waiting for clarity? Are you learning how to trust? Are you leaving something? Are you preparing to receive something new? The answer may change from day to day. Living things move. Your care can move with you. Now let the vow travel through the body, not as a command, as a way of returning. Begin with the forehead. This is where so many plans gather. This is where you rehearse conversations, predict reactions, solve problems that have not happened, and carry the imagined expectations of everyone around you. You may not be able to stop every thought. You can soften the demand to solve everything now. Let the forehead release the need to manage the whole garden. Let the space behind the eyes become less watchful. You have looked outward for so long. You have read faces. You have searched messages. You have studied small changes in tone. For this moment, let your eyes stop searching for proof that someone is upset with you. Let them rest in what is actually here. No imagined reaction, no future conversation, no old scene being replayed. Only this moment. Let the muscles around the eyes loosen. Let the jaw become aware of how much it has been holding. Words you swallowed, replies you rewrote, truths you delayed, anger you feared. The jaw does not need to keep every unsaid sentence trapped inside it. Let it release the duty to make every truth pleasant. You can speak clearly without speaking cruelly. You can pause before speaking. You can choose silence. You can choose honesty. The jaw does not have to decide now. Let the throat have space. This is where yes and no pass through. This is where needs become words. This is where apology sometimes appears before truth. Let the throat remember that your voice is not an intrusion. Your needs are not noise. Your boundary is not violence. Your request is not proof of weakness. The throat may still tighten. Let it tighten without shame. A trembling voice is still a voice. A quiet truth is still true. Let the shoulders lower. They have carried tasks, expectations, emotional weight. The responsibility for moods that did not belong to you. The pressure to remain dependable even when you were depleted. Let the shoulders release what was never theirs to manage. You do not have to hold every person up, right? You do not have to carry every unfinished conversation. You do not have to keep the whole day from falling apart. Let the shoulders become shoulders again. Not shelves, not supports for the whole world. Let the chest become less defended. This is where grief can live. Hope too. The chest may have learned to tighten before disappointment arrives. It may have learned to protect tenderness by becoming guarded. Do not force it open. Protection loosens through safety, not demand. Let the chest know that it can open by degrees. It can remain wise. It can remain boundaried. Softness does not mean exposure to everything. Softness can have a gate. Softness can choose. Place one hand over the heart if that feels right. Do not ask the heart to prove anything. Say only, you are included. Included in the care. Included in the patience. Included in the garden. Let the hands release their endless readiness. Hands that type replies. Hands that clean after everyone. Hands that carry, prepare, fix, soothe, arrange, and remember. Let the hands rest for one moment without earning it. They do not have to be useful to be worthy of warmth. They do not have to hold something. They can be held. Let the stomach become less responsible for decisions that have not been made. This is where uncertainty may gather. This is where guilt may tighten after a boundary. This is where fear may whisper that someone's disappointment means danger. Let the stomach receive a simpler truth. Discomfort can pass. Someone else's reaction can pass. You can survive being misunderstood. You can take time. You can wait before answering. You can choose after the first wave has moved through. Let the back release the role of always being strong. The back may know what it is to keep going while no one sees the effort. It may know how to remain upright through grief, responsibility, and fatigue. Let it be supported now. Imagine the ground beneath you carrying some of the weight. You do not have to carry yourself alone every second. Let the back receive support without suspicion. Let the hips loosen around movement. This is where the body prepares to leave, stay, turn, approach, or step away. You may have forced yourself to remain still when you wanted distance. You may have rushed forward when you needed more time. Let the hips remember that movement can be chosen. You can step closer. You can step back. You can change direction. You can stop. Your path does not have to satisfy everyone. Let the legs release the belief that progress must always look fast. They have carried you through seasons that no one else fully understands. Let them know that slower movement is still movement. Let them know that rest can belong inside progress. Let them know that standing still long enough to hear yourself is not failure. Let the knees soften. They do not have to lock against every uncertainty. Flexibility is not weakness. You can bend without surrendering your center. You can adapt without abandoning your truth. You can change your plan without calling the earlier plan foolish. Let the feet feel the ground. This is your present season, not the imagined future, not the past you wish you could rewrite. Here. The ground beneath you is the only place from which the next step can be taken. Let the feet release comparison. Another person's path is not beneath them. Your path is here. Your pace is here. Your next honest movement begins here. The body does not need to become completely calm for this practice to matter. You may still feel tension. You may still feel distracted. You may still be thinking about what must happen later. The intention has already entered. I tend my own season without calling it late. Now let this move beyond the body and into the ordinary places of your day. Carry it into the moment someone asks something from you. Pause before the automatic yes. You do not need a long pause. One breath can create room. Ask, do I have this to give? Not, can I force myself? Not, will they be upset? Do I have this to give? Sometimes the answer will be yes. Let the yes be clean. Give because you choose to give. Give without using generosity to secure your worth. Sometimes the answer will be no. Let the no be honest. You do not need to turn it into a confession. You do not need to provide your entire emotional history. No, I cannot do that. I am not available. I need more time. That does not work for me. A complete sentence can protect a whole season. Carry the vow into your messages. You do not have to respond while activated. You do not have to answer immediately because someone else wants certainty. You can read a message and wait. You can let your first emotional wave pass. You can choose words that belong to your values rather than to your fear. Carry the vow into work. There may be responsibilities that must be met. Softness does not erase them. It changes how you speak to yourself while meeting them. You can be tired without calling yourself lazy. You can make a mistake without declaring the whole day ruined. You can ask for clarification. You can take a break before your body forces one. You can complete what is possible and acknowledge what remains. Carry the vow into meals. Let nourishment be care, not reward. You do not have to earn food through productivity. You do not have to wait until everyone else is satisfied. Your body is part of the garden. It needs tending too. Carry the vow into rest. Rest before collapse. Rest while something remains unfinished. Rest even when another person is still uncomfortable. The world may not become completely settled before you pause. You are permitted to pause inside an unsettled world. Carry the vow into disappointment. When something does not happen as hoped, do not become the person who attacks you first. You may need to review. You may need to adjust. You may need to grieve. Begin without contempt. Say, "This hurts." Say, "I am disappointed." Say, "I need time." Truth does not become stronger when insult is added to it. Carry the vow into comparison. When another person reaches something you want, let their season remain theirs. You do not have to diminish their joy. You do not have to diminish your life either. Their harvest does not prove your absence of growth. The garden is large enough for many timings. Carry the vow into relationships. Notice who respects your pace. Notice who becomes impatient when you stop overgiving. Notice who can hear no without punishing you. Notice who asks how you are and stays long enough to hear the answer. Notice where care is mutual. This is not about testing everyone. It is about seeing clearly. Carry the vow into loneliness. There may be moments when choosing yourself creates space before healthier connection arrives. That space can ache. Do not interpret the ache as proof that you chose wrongly. Familiar connection can be missed, even when it was costly. You can miss someone and still honor the boundary. You can feel lonely and still refuse self-betrayal. You can seek safe connection without returning to what harmed you. Carry the vow into joy. You do not need to reduce your happiness so others remain comfortable. You do not need to wait for every problem to be solved before experiencing something good. A garden can hold damaged leaves and open flowers at the same time. Your life can hold grief and laughter, concern and beauty, uncertainty and a good meal, a hard conversation and a moment of peace. Joy is not betrayal. It is part of living. Carry the vow into the moments when you forget it. This may be the most important place. You will forget. The old voice may return quickly. You may find yourself over-explaining. You may feel guilty after resting. You may compare your June with another person's October. When you notice, do not begin again with shame. Return, that is all. Return to the garden. Return to the body. Return to the vow. I tend my own season without calling it late. The return can happen 100 times. Each return counts. The heart learns through what happens after the mistake. Does it meet punishment, or does it meet guidance? Does it hear, "You always do this," or does it hear, "You noticed, let us choose the next step"? This is how the inner climate changes. Not through one flawless day, through many returns. Over time, the new voice becomes easier to recognize. It may say, "You can wait before answering. You are allowed to need support." Their disappointment is not your identity. Your body is giving information. You do not have to prove your pain. You can care and still say no. Your season is not late. These sentences begin as practice. Then they become companionship. Then they become a way of living. You may notice that your relationships change. Some people may feel safer with the more honest version of you. Some may become confused. Some may accuse you of changing. They may be right. You are changing. You are becoming less available for forms of connection that require your disappearance. You are becoming more available for truth. You are becoming more able to give without resentment, because giving is becoming a choice. You are becoming more able to receive because care is no longer automatically treated as debt. You are becoming more able to remain present because you are not using all your energy to manage the room. This does not make you less loving. It makes love more honest. The woman in the garden discovered this slowly. At first, she feared every boundary would make her hard. Instead, she became more sincere. Her yes became warmer because it was no longer hiding a no. Her help became cleaner because it was not always driven by fear. Her presence became steadier because she stopped spending every conversation measuring whether she was enough. She still cared. She also rested. She still noticed others. She also noticed herself. She did not become a different species in the garden. She became part of it. You are part of it too. Not only the hands that tend, not only the one who watches over every bed. You are living here. You need light. You need nourishment. You need protection. You need room. You need seasons. Let the affirmation rain begin without pressure. Let each line be a small drop of care. My heart deserves the same softness I give so freely to others. I tend my own season without calling it late. I do not need to rush what is becoming. I can care for others without disappearing. My needs belong in my life. My limits deserve respect. My body is allowed to speak. My feelings are allowed to exist. I can listen without judging. I can pause before answering. I can choose without apologizing for being human. I can change direction. I can ask for help. I can receive support. I can rest before I am empty. I can be loving and boundaried. I can be honest and kind. I can disappoint someone without becoming bad. I can be misunderstood and remain worthy. I can make a mistake and return. I can learn without attacking myself. I can grow without hating my beginning. I honor what I survived. I honor what I need now. I release the clock I placed on my healing. I release the comparison that made my pain lonelier. I release the belief that care must be earned. I release the role of carrying everyone. I release what is not mine to manage. I release the need to make every truth easy for others. My no can be clear. My yes can be free. My rest can be real. My grief can have time. My joy can have room. My heart can be included. My life can hold me too. I am not late. I am not failing. I am not too much. I am not a burden. I am living through a season. I am learning my own rhythm. I am listening more closely. I am becoming more honest. I am growing roots beneath what others can see. I am creating safer ground. I am making room for myself. I am worthy while becoming. I am worthy before the harvest. I am worthy in June. I am worthy in October. I am worthy now. My season has meaning. My pace has wisdom. My heart has a place here. I belong in my own care. Let that belonging become quieter now. Not smaller, quieter. A truth does not lose its strength when it stops shouting. It settles. It moves beneath thought. It enters the places where old judgments have been repeated for years. You belong in your own care. You belong in the pauses. You belong in the decisions. You belong in the life you have spent so much time making easier for everyone else. You are not an interruption to your own love. You are not the final person to be considered after every need has been met. You are not the exhausted gardener standing outside the gate. You are part of what is growing. Let the words continue. Let them become simpler. My heart is worthy of tenderness. My heart is worthy of time. My heart is worthy of truth. My heart is worthy of protection. My heart is worthy of support. My heart is worthy of rest. I do not have to bloom on command. I do not have to heal for an audience. I do not have to prove that I am growing. I do not have to explain every season. I do not have to rush toward forgiveness. I do not have to hurry into trust. I do not have to offer access to everyone. I do not have to abandon my needs to preserve peace. I can let my life become more honest. I can let my relationships become more mutual. I can let my choices reflect what I know now. I can let care reach me. I can let support reach me. I can let kindness become familiar. I can receive without becoming indebted. I can pause without becoming selfish. I can protect what is tender. I can respect what is tired. I can listen to what is changing. I can begin again without shame. The season I am in is not a mistake. The pace I need is not a failure. The support I need is not weakness. The boundary I need is not cruelty. The rest I need is not laziness. The truth I feel is not an inconvenience. My inner life matters. My physical well-being matters. My safety matters. My time matters. My energy matters. My peace matters. I can offer care without offering all of myself. I can love people without carrying their lives. I can understand someone without accepting harm. I can forgive and still need distance. I can miss someone and still choose safety. I can feel guilt without obeying it. I can feel fear without surrendering my direction. I can feel uncertain and still take one-ons. T-step. I can be kind without becoming silent. I can be generous without becoming depleted. I can be soft without becoming unprotected. I can be strong without becoming hard. I can be supported. I can be seen. I can be heard. I can be held. I can be human. My heart does not need to earn its place. My heart does not need to finish first. My heart does not need to hide its needs. My heart does not need to become a tomato in June. My heart can be a pumpkin in October. My heart can follow its own design. My heart can ripen in its own time. My heart can grow beneath broad leaves. My heart can become without being watched. My heart can change without being forced. I trust small changes. I trust honest pauses. I trust clear boundaries. I trust steady support. I trust repeated care. I trust the wisdom of returning. I trust what I learn through living. I trust myself enough to listen. I trust myself enough to ask. I trust myself enough to wait. I trust myself enough to leave what harms me. I trust myself enough to receive help. I trust myself enough to change my mind. I trust myself enough to choose again. The words may meet resistance. Let resistance sit nearby. It does not need to be removed. A part of you may still say that this care is too much. A part may say that other people have greater needs. A part may say that your life will become disordered if you stop pressuring yourself. You do not have to silence that part. You can answer it without surrendering to it. You can say, I know you are trying to protect me. I know you learned that pressure keeps us safe. I know you fear what may happen if we slow down. We are learning another way. Not a careless way. Not a way without responsibility. A way that does not require cruelty. A way that includes truth. A way that includes support. A way that includes me. Your protective habits may not disappear when they hear this once. They may return during conflict. They may return when someone becomes distant. They may return when you make a mistake or feel uncertain about the future. Return to the answer. We are learning another way. There is no need to hate the old way. It was built for a reason. There is no need to obey it forever. You have more information now. You may have more choices now. You may have people, resources, language, and awareness that were not available before. Use what is available. Ask for help where help is needed. Create distance where distance protects life. Take medical or psychological concerns to qualified professionals. Take questions of safety seriously. Let affirmation support practical care rather than replace it. Your well-being deserves more than beautiful words alone. It deserves action where action is needed. It deserves patience where patience is needed. It deserves protection where protection is needed. It deserves community where isolation has become too heavy. Softness becomes trustworthy when it stands beside reality. It does not tell you that every situation is safe. It helps you respond when a situation is not safe. It does not tell you that everyone has good intentions. It helps you value your own dignity even when another person does not. It does not tell you to remain calm while harm continues. It reminds you that leaving, reaching out, documenting, asking for assistance, or seeking professional guidance can also be acts of love. Softness is not helplessness. It is the refusal to use harm as the method of healing. You do not heal from humiliation by humiliating yourself. You do not heal from abandonment by ignoring your own signals. You do not heal from control by controlling every feeling. You do not heal from neglect by postponing your needs again. You begin by changing the condition you can touch. The tone of the next sentence, the answer to the next request, the way you respond to the next mistake, the person you call when the weight becomes too much, the door you close when respect disappears, the appointment you make, the meal you eat, the rest you take, the truth you stop arguing against. These are forms of tending. They may not look dramatic. Life is often changed through undramatic acts repeated with sincerity. A glass of water, a delayed reply, a clear no, a truthful yes, a walk outside, a conversation with someone safe, a return to treatment, a decision not to reopen what has repeatedly harmed you, a hand resting on your own chest while you say, "This matters." These acts tell the body that the new words have meaning. The body listens to behavior. It learns from what happens after fear appears. It learns from whether you protect your limit. It learns from whether rest is followed by punishment. It learns from whether a mistake becomes guidance or attack. It learns from whether you seek care when pain persists. Over time, repeated experiences create new evidence. The evidence may say, "I can say no and survive the discomfort. I can ask for time and remain worthy. I can tell the truth and still belong to myself. I can receive help without losing dignity. I can disappoint someone and remain a caring person. I can stop trying to earn what should be mutual. I can choose safety even while grief follows me. I can begin again after returning to an old pattern. I can live differently." Let that final sentence rest for a moment. I can live differently. Not because the past did not happen, not because every wound disappears, not because you become untouched by fear. You can live differently because awareness gives you another possible response, because support can be learned, because boundaries can be practiced, because self-respect can become more familiar, because one season is not the whole life of a garden. The woman who sat between the tomatoes and pumpkins did not stop having difficult days. There were mornings when the old urgency returned before she had fully opened her eyes. There were conversations in which she agreed too quickly. There were nights when she replayed someone's disappointment and wondered whether she had become unkind. There were days when she wanted to return to the easier role of being needed by everyone and known by no one. But she had seen the garden. She could not completely forget what it had shown her. She began to recognize the moment she was calling herself late. It appeared when she saw another person moving forward. It appeared when she repeated a boundary she wished she could state without fear. It appeared when grief returned after she believed it had ended. It appeared when healing failed to follow the neat line she had drawn for it. Each time, she returned to the same sentence. I tend my own season without calling it late. Some days, the sentence felt true. Some days, it felt like a direction she could barely see. Both were enough. She did not have to feel confident to tend the day in front of her. She only had to stop turning time into an accusation. As summer continued, the tomatoes were gathered. Some were eaten immediately. Some were shared. Some split on the vine before they could be picked. The garden did not become a story of perfection. Leaves yellowed. Insects appeared. A vine grew in the wrong direction. Several fruits did not mature. The pumpkins continued, slowly, quietly. They became heavier beneath their leaves. The woman checked them, but she stopped measuring them against what had already been harvested. By October, the garden looked different. The tomato vines had thinned. The air had cooled. The pumpkins that once seemed unchanged now carried their full color. Nothing had been wrong in June. June had contained October in a form that was not yet visible. This is what your current life may be holding. Not a guaranteed outcome, not a promise that every desire will arrive exactly as imagined. A possibility that growth is occurring in forms you cannot yet measure. A possibility that your quieter choices are creating a future atmosphere. A possibility that every time you refuse to insult your heart, something inside becomes safer. A possibility that one clear boundary can protect energy you will later use to build something new. A possibility that receiving help can become the beginning of steadier ground. A possibility that rest can return you to yourself. You do not need certainty to live toward possibility. You need enough willingness for the next act of care. Let the affirmations become shorter. My heart is included. My needs are real. My limits are wise. My feelings have meaning. My body can speak. My truth can breathe. My no can stand. My yes can be free. I choose honest care. I choose safer ground. I choose mutual love. I choose clear respect. I choose steady tending. I choose my own season. I do not rush. I do not shame. I do not compare. I do not force. I pause. I listen. I respond. I return. I ask. I receive. I rest. I grow. My roots deepen. My ground softens. My voice strengthens. My heart opens wisely. My care turns inward. My life makes room. I am still learning. I am still becoming. I am still worthy. I am here. I am alive. I belong. Still growing. Still worthy. Still here. Safer ground. Steady roots. Honest care. Clear limits. Open space. My season. My rhythm. My heart. Included now. Worthy now. Loved now. Let the final words become almost weightless. No effort. No performance. No race. No lateness. Only life. Only tending. Only now. You may not remember every sentence after this ends. Nothing important is lost. You do not have to hold all of these words in your mind. You do not need to repeat each affirmation correctly. You do not need to feel transformed before you continue with your day or let yourself rest later. One line may remain. One image may return. A green pumpkin beneath broad leaves. A red tomato in June. The same garden, the same sun, different seasons. When the old voice asks why you are not farther ahead, remember the garden. When comparison tells you that another person's readiness is evidence against you, remember the garden. When your own heart needs more time than you expected, remember the garden. The garden never called the pumpkin late. Let that become permission. permission to take one honest step rather than 10 frightened ones, permission to seek support, permission to stop an unsafe pattern, permission to rest, permission to grieve, permission to change slowly, permission to change suddenly when clarity arrives, permission to remain soft without remaining unprotected. You do not have to carry this permission perfectly. Even hearing it once may create a small opening. And if tonight becomes one of those nights when you realize that you spent the entire day giving tenderness outward while leaving none for yourself, save these words for that moment. Return without shame. Return when your shoulders are tired. Return when your mind begins measuring your life. Return when you need to hear that care belongs to you before the harvest. You do not need to begin from the start of your healing. You begin from wherever you remember. A breath, a pause, a sentence. My heart deserves the same softness I give so freely to others. Let that be the promise echoed once more. Your heart deserves the softness you have offered so faithfully to everyone else. Not because you have reached the end of your growth, because you are living through it. Not because your season looks impressive, because it is yours. Not because you have become easy to love, because love was never meant to depend on your ease. There may still be people who misunderstand the change in you. There may still be moments when guilt follows your boundary. There may still be sadness for all the care you gave without receiving enough in return. Let those truths exist. Softness does not ask you to deny them. It asks you not to turn them into weapons against your heart. You can grieve what was missing and begin offering something different now. You can honor the person who survived by creating conditions in which they no longer have to survive every day. You can thank the old protective voice for its effort and choose not to let it lead every decision. You can love the caring parts of yourself without sacrificing the rest of who you are. The goal was never to stop being generous. It was to stop treating generosity as proof that you deserve a place. You already have a place. The question left open earlier can close here. What grows in the space where self-neglect used to live? You do. Not the useful version alone. Not the strong version alone. Not the agreeable, available, endlessly understanding version. You, the person with preferences, the person with limits, the person who can give and receive, the person who can remain compassionate while recognizing harm, the person who can feel uncertainty without rushing back into an old role, the person who is no longer standing outside the gate. In that space, your own life grows. A life with more honest yeses. A life with clearer no's. a life where care moves in both directions, a life where rest is not an emergency measure, a life where healing is not a performance, a life where your heart is not treated as the last bed in the garden. This life may form slowly. Let it. The pumpkin did not become less alive because its color came later. Your quieter season is not empty. Something is being strengthened. Something is being clarified. Something is becoming too honest to return fully to the old way. You may still visit the old way. You may still forget yourself. Then you will notice. Then you will return. Return is part of the path. You are not disqualified by needing it. There is no gardener standing above you with a clock. There is no healthy sun withdrawing because you needed more time. There is no wise soil asking why your roots did not learn faster. There is this breath. There is this body. There is this season. There is the next act of care. Let it be enough for today. Let your forehead be free from the whole future. Let your eyes stop searching for disapproval. Let your jaw release the unsaid defense. Let your throat keep one clear truth. Let your shoulders carry only what belongs there. Let your chest remain soft and wise. Let your hands rest. Let your stomach know that you can wait. Let your back receive support. Let your hips remember choice. Let your legs honor their pace. Let your feet belong to this ground. You are here. The garden is here. Life does not requel. Are you to become everything today, one season at a time, one truth at a time, one boundary at a time, one return at a time? All is well. The tomatoes may redden in June. The pumpkins may deepen in October. Both are held beneath the same sun. Your heart is no longer being called late.